So, how would you now define the relationship between language and the world? Lots of different ways. One way of understanding you can see there are lots of different things we do with language. Language games. The meaning of the word is just the way it's used in a particular language game.
What do you now believe the task of philosophy to be?
Philosophical puzzles arise because we tend to mix up one language game with another. For example, people puzzle over the nature of something they call the soul. This may just be because they're thinking of the soul along the lines of a physical object. They're confusing one way of talking with another.
Your philosophy is to sort out these language games.
Exactly. They're all perfectly in order. Philosophy in no sense can question them. Philosophy leaves everything exactly as it is. Professor Wittgenstein, you've been associated with the argument that there can't be a private language. Could you explain this a little? What I mean is this. We learn to use words because we belong to a culture, a form of life, a practical way of doing things.
There, hair and skin shining golden, holding daisies in her ears, standing 9 feet tall, making stones out of boulders, wrapped up in chains and evening wear. I flashed the yellow green. Came loose and fell out of it, but she blushed all the same. My heartstrings played for her, fast and manically a symphony, and she knew the tune was string. But I saw her tap on foot, so I climbed to where she stood. The scene had altogether changed. For hours golden night, and all 9 of my arms reached for the chain to rip them up like swine. Her hands fell on my arm, and in a horny voice so tender, her smile. Whoa, faded with her, faded with her, faded with her smile. I searched for everywhere, through basements in disrepair, on the floorboards beneath stairs, always in boorish prayer, through kitchens and drain pipes, through drunken hay
mom in her rocker with baby on her lap was watching the late show while I took a nap. When out of the east there arose such a clatter, I sprang to my feet to see what's the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but angels proclaiming that Jesus was here. With a light like the sun sending forth a bright ray, I knew in a moment it must be the day. The light of his face made me cover my head. It was Jesus returning just like he had said. And though I possessed worldly wisdom and wealth, I cried when I saw him in spite of myself. In the book of life which he held in his hand was written the name of every saved man. He spoke not a word as he searched for my name. When he said it's not here, my head hung in shame.
sky's bound to fall on once winter white walls, smoke stained yellow and fading dull. Summer marches in slow through that bedroom window where the ivy vines all climb as they grow. And the nature of the beast is a smile hiding teeth, as if to keep swords tightly sheathed. Street lights whirling, flicker and dim. The evening birds sing their sacred hymns, giving ancient stars bound to fade, and worlds once bathed in the warm love of God will rot cold in their graves. And death marches in stride, shifting through doors locked tight that keep out the ghosts of a former life. And the nature of the end is a childhood friend whose face distorts as the memories bend. The moon's strong arms, the sun for the sky, calm as a dead dog, oh, leave her where she lies. She lies. The haggard blue-jeaned evening was lonesome pressing on the Confederate line behind me with the dusty gleaming dawn. And peace, she is a lonely gal, a man is off at war. It fights and kills and loves and hates and does not seem to know what for. I pace her to and fro alongside Confederate soldiers who are dead and do not know. In the sighing hills of Georgia, I've taken up with peace. The man will soon be back from war, arming himself to the teeth. These weary feet of mine are the stuff of southern legend. My best friend, he's a specter by the name of Lee Shanks Evans. And he tells me that I look right for the second Dragoons. I tell him I must stay with peace while I can. A man will be back soon. The dead is upon me now. The boys are going home, heading to yonder pearly gates and taking peace along. I thought to myself, peace is my gal, for whom I must fight. When I found a man's name was John Brown, I hit the road that night. There's a time to live fast and a time to live slow. There's good people out there, but none that I know. And I can be counted amongst the sinners and the crooks. My shoulders cold, my eyes are blind, I'm a fish on a hook. And Jesus was grooming me for Christhood once, but I turned to the devil, I left the needs for the ones. And once I was better and once I was worse. Once I cared for nothing but a ride in a hearse. Child, but I've forgotten your place. I said I forgot nothing, but your company's lonely, and the folks in the village all been